As we know, are cleaning up after some really dangerous and damaging storms. So the question I know a lot of people are asking tonight, Matt, how many tornadoes touched down? How strong were they? And is this something that we're going to have to wait a little bit to find out?
We need a little bit more time.
Okay.
But they got a lot in today. They pretty much surveyed all of Monroe County.
Okay.
But there were 4 other counties that were hit by tornadoes potentially. And then we got videos up, so we just need to get the confirmations. But Jenny, I want to take a second. Let's recap what we saw on your Friday evening. This is what the radar looked like at 6:22, just after the 6 o'clock hour. These are when these strong thunderstorms started to come in, and this supercell, this is the one that caused us a lot of problems. This is actually in Sullivan County, dropped a tornado, and we have damage and tornado reports all the way through Greene County into Monroe County. That's where they were today, Bloomington area and Clear Creek. Here's Brown County and then Bartholomew County. We believe it lifted up possibly right before 65. But I can play this out for you as you can see that supercell going through. We also had some other supercells. Hard to say if any of those put down a tornado specifically, but that one definitely did, as it was coming right through Monroe County. And that's where the National Weather Service was. But it wasn't just about that storm. We had a lot of storms. We had reports all across the state for wind, especially northern Indiana, a lot of hail in central Indiana, and then a mix of hail and those tornado reports kind of south central Indiana from the Wabash right through Bloomington and headed towards Columbus. And then there were a lot of big tornadoes in Kentucky. That's where there were a lot of fatalities late last night with some of those severe storms. And even St. Louis had a tornado touchdown inside that downtown area, just outside of the skyscrapers, just on the northwest side. It was a crazy day, a lot of big thunderstorms. So let's talk a little bit more about what the National Weather Service saw in Monroe County. You can see the different tornado reports that spotters were kind of putting in. It gets a little bit tricky on the location because you could be in one spot, but you're seeing the tornado off in the distance. So where is the report going to be? It's going to be where the folks actually made the report. So it gets a little bit tricky. That's why you kind of see a little bit of everything on the map. I want to go through a couple of notes that the National Weather Service put out today. They are putting out EF-2 damage was found in Monroe County. So any kind of tornado that is fully confirmed, once they have the full path done, it will be at least an EF-2. However, they wanted to make a big note. Most of the damage was not EF-2. There was a lot of EF-0 and EF-1 damage. At first, there was a lot of tree damage in western parts of Monroe County. We've heard about the horse barn that was hit. What was interesting about it, the walls that were down were ones that weren't actually fully anchored into the ground. And so they had to reduce the rating on the storm as it was hitting the horse barn down to EF-0, EF-1. It also hit the post office roof that was at Clear Creek. That's on the south side of Bloomington. But they found that the roof was only held together by the cinder blocks and mortar. There weren't actually any extra reinforcements to it, so they also kept it low. Where they put the EF-2 damage was just east of the post office there in Clear Creek, passing the old Highway 37. There's a motel that's just south of Kroger there. I believe it's the Economy Inn, and that's where they saw more damage that was more up to an EF-2. Now, it was briefly an EF-2 and then went back down towards EF-1, EF-0 status as it headed towards the north end of Lake Monroe. And just real quick, it's a complicated process on how the National Weather Service rates tornadoes. They look at several different types of buildings and they give a damage rating and they put everything together. So for example, let's talk about a school. So when they're looking at a school, if they see any kind of visible damage, okay, you can have some smaller winds. All these numbers are wind speeds. So 65, that would be a lower towards the EF-0 range. Then they look at possibly broken windows. That might be a faster wind in order to do that. They go all the way down to the collapse of load-bearing walls or just a complete destruction of the whole building, or it's basically gone. To do that, the winds would have to be stronger. You've got lower bounds and upper bounds. So that's how they kind of do it. They put everything together. This is the checklist that they're going through, and now they've got several more counties. Jenny, I do want to show you the map from the National Weather Service, kind of just generally where they're looking for damage. They were in Monroe County. That's where they want to start today, especially south side of Bloomington, right through the Clear Creek area. They're going to go west, and they're going to go east. But we have damage, and the question is, was it all consistent? Starting there in Sullivan County, into Greene County. It was a large tornado there going through the Linton area. They haven't had a chance to get there just yet. Brown County, a lot of trees down, hit some campgrounds there. And then we believe it might have picked up right before 65. Kind of some questions there in Bartholomew County inside the Columbus area. So Jenny, what's going to happen next? They'll decide after looking at all the damage along this path, was it one tornado or there are multiple touchdowns? But once we have that information for you, we'll get it to you. Jenny.
All right, I know you will, Matt. Thanks so much. So that was the map. Now let's take you to the ground. Tonight, we are getting a closer look at all that damage from last night's storms. Take a look here. Piles of debris in Monroe County tearing up houses, landing on cars, and blocking roads. Our Anna Chalker today talked with neighbors near Bloom.